Hello, folks, and welcome. Welcome to Just Folks Conversations with Emma. I'm Emma, and I'm so glad to have you join me today. As always, every time I bring in a guest, it's always someone very special, and each one has a very unique and special story to tell. So today, you're going to meet Latriche Williams. Now, Latrice and I actually have a little bit of history. Her dear grandfather, who made his transition in April of 2022, this year, was also my father-in-law. And we first made our acquaintance actually at his homegoing service, where I was so moved, along with everyone else, by the genuine words of wisdom that came forth from this very young lady. I wanted to follow up more to see what well was she drinking from, because what she shared with us was deep, rich, and true. So without further ado from me, I'd like to introduce you to Latrice. Hi, Latrice.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's great. Yeah, basically how we even met is because I feel like God had told me to speak at my grandfather's funeral. And I wasn't quite sure, like, sometimes when God tells you to do something, like you need that confirmation. So I had, he had told me to, speak at my grandfather's funeral. I didn't know what for, what was I supposed to say? But as time went by, he basically told me what to speak on. But I knew that it was God ordained because I had mentioned it to my grandmother. My uncle, which is a pastor, his name is Curtis, he usually speaks and do the preaching at the funeral, homegoings or whatever, family get-togethers. I had called him and I told him, I'm like, before I called him, I told my grandmother, I'm like, I never told her that God told me to speak at the funeral. I just told her, like, I feel like, I want to say a few words at my grandfather's funeral. And she was like, no, like, your grandfather is, not your grandfather, but your uncle is going to speak at the funeral. He going to do the preaching. We just going to leave that in his hands. So I'm like, God, if this is something that you told me to do, then obviously you going to make it happen, no matter how many glitches, happen on the way. So I called my uncle, uncle, which is the pastor Curtis. And I told him, I'm like, God, I feel like God told me to speak at my grandfather's funeral, and he was like, this time, I don't feel like, he was like, I feel like it wasn't meant for me to do it, it wasn't meant for me to speak at the funeral, and he said, the first person that came to mind was you. I feel like you should have, you spoke too. So I'm like, oh, okay, wow. So my grandfather, not my grandfather, excuse me, but my uncle, he had called my grandmother and told my grandmother, like, fill her in for me, as far as the preaching or whatever. Then my grandmother, she didn't even know what was going on. So she ended up calling, like, okay, we put you on the, what is it called? The
obituary.
The obituary. We put you in the service as a part of the services or whatever. I'm like, okay, God, it's real. Like, you really told me to speak. So about time I was kind of worried and stuff like that. With what I was gonna say, but pretty much it was like he gave me like an idea of what I was gonna say, but everything else I just told, I'm like, Lord, just speak through me, you know? So when I spoke at my grandfather's funeral, I feel like that was pretty much more of God speaking through me, just using me for whatever message he was trying to get out to whoever he was trying to get it to. I was kind of nervous a little, but I delivered it well. I believe the message got, and people had clearly understood what the message was. But basically, it's funny how God works or whatever, because as a little girl, like I was saying at the service, as a little girl, I had this man was living on the corner or whatever, and which was my now to be, well, my now grandfather. He stayed on the corner. He was a really nice man. I never knew nothing about like him and my grandmother dating or nothing about him going to be a part of the family until after the fact. So everything took place to him becoming my grandfather, dating my grandmother, becoming a part of the family. It, like, you don't see what God is doing until after the fact, you know? But anyway, so it started off like that. Me, just a little girl living a couple houses away from him. Come to find out, my grandmother and him is dating. Then next thing you know, this is like, he's a part of the family or whatever. And he was a really, really, really good man. Actually, I've been thinking about him for the past couple of days, honestly. But like I just sometimes think about the things that he said to me, and like sticks in my head, you know, as far as like letting go of things that you no longer have control over. But back to what I originally was saying, like I knew that I finally realized that he was really the muscle to our family, you know, like he he did everything pretty much for us, everything. Like, and he always would say that, you know, he here, God put him there to help us and, you know, be with us and stuff like that and take care of us. I actually thought about it the other day when he was like, you know, what y'all gonna do if I ever leave? You know, I be thinking about him a lot and a lot of things that he say, but he was like, what you guys gonna do if I ever leave? And we ain't never really think about it, you know, because he was always so strong. We ain't never really think about him leaving because he was always so strong headed. And, you know, if you told him that he couldn't do something, he did it anyways. But anyways, yeah, that's how I met you, of course, through the speech. And
and I was impressed by your strength, because it was clear that there was a powerful relationship that your grandfather, my father-in-law,
right,
had really the impact he had on everyone he met. So we actually met for the first time at the funeral,
right.
because you know, family matters, and that brought us together. But what stood out for me was your strength, and I knew that was coming from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that was the influence I think he had on you, but the other part of it, I believe, really comes from your life experiences.
Right.
Would you like to talk a bit about who you are? What's brought you to this point?
As far as like, you know, about
Who are you? Who are you now? You know, who do you represent yourself to be? You know, we had talked in some conversations earlier about some plans that you had for a business and some challenges that you had faced. One in particular that was very, very, it was a difficult mountain to climb, but you certainly have climbed over that. So
right.
what would you like to share with the audience?
My strength definitely come from what I've been through. I lost my son in 2019. I didn't even know that I had that much. I didn't know that I even had that strength, or that I was going to even get to the point that I am now. It was really tough.
Talk a little bit about your son, so the audience knows. You know, anytime a parent loses a child, it's difficult. But
Right.
this, I think, was exceptionally tough.
My son, he was actually, I try to, well, how I vision and see it, it reminded me of a situation with like Mary and Jesus, you know? I had ended up just coming home from prison, and I wasn't supposed to be dealing with my baby father because we had some domestic violence, a domestic violence situation where he was no longer supposed to be around me. But by me being the person I am and didn't want to deal with nobody else, I ended up dealing with him. And it was, I'm telling you to say this, I had dealt with him one time and he ended up being incarcerated, which I never knew that I was pregnant at all. I happened to go to the doctors like 5.5 months, which I was at that time, just for a regular checkup. And come to find out, mind you, I didn't have no stomach, nothing, no baby like sickness, nothing. I went to the doctors at like 5.5 months, and they ended up telling me that I was pregnant, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I was pregnant. I had no signs of pregnancy, none whatsoever. I didn't feel nothing. It was just normal. But once that I was that far along that the next time that I went to the appointment, I was able to know what I was having, what gender the baby was going to be, which it was a boy. And it was like, it was so crazy because everything was happening so fast. Then as soon as I found out that I was pregnant, my stomach instantly just blew up. It just blew up. So, I was kind of sad about it because, living in poverty, living in the project, having a fixed income, being able to only having enough funds to take care of you and the kids that's already there. I never could see myself as being no unfit parent. So I was dealing with all that, and it was like really, really bad for me to the point where I was feeling like I wanted to have an abortion, which I grew up into church, and my family don't believe in abortions. I was afraid to have an abortion. I never had an abortion. I was afraid of that and how God may look at me, knowing that it was against God will. It was just everything that I was going through at that time. I was afraid to bring a kid in this world and not be able to take care of him, provide for him the way that I should be, being a single mother already. So that was kind of tough for me. But I went through a lot of that, like debating whether I should have and then one day I had spoken with my mother, and it was like I was talking about it so much because it bothered me so much that I finally had to sit down with my mother, and she was like, you know what, I came up with something. We don't believe in abortions, which I was afraid to have one anyways. She was like, if you this serious, you can have a baby, and I'll come to the hospital with you, and you can sign the rights over there right then and there. So that was the plan for me, to have sign my rights over to my mother once I had the baby, because I was just overwhelmed with everything that took place, and I couldn't believe I was pregnant. I didn't know where the next income was going to come for the child, how I was going to provide, how I was going to be mentally. I just know that I don't want to be a bad mother. So, and when it was time for me to have my son, my mother came, as she said that she was going to come. The plans were still the same. When it was like the moment that I experienced when I had him, I can't even explain it, how it was like. It was like, it reminded me of something like The Matrix. Like, it really made me feel like, now that I be looking back, like, like Jesus was being reborn, because the room was like, it was a different type of light in the room. Like, I believe I kind of blacked out. It was just a whole different experience. Like, literally, I really cannot explain it, but I just knew that this baby was special. So once I had him, they laid him on me or whatever, and he was so light. Like, his hair was gold. He had gold hair. He was very, very white. Like, he was lighter than me. And as soon as they laid him on me, like, I instantly felt different. I'm like, I can't be in the same city as my child and not have my child with me. I'm gonna have to, God, we're gonna have to figure this out or whatever. So I knew that it was something special about him already. As he started to grow up, like, he showed me like this different type of love. Like, he was loving, like, he was helping, he was caring, he was smart, intelligent. And it was just, to be like, as a baby, growing up from a baby to 6 years old, it's like this ain't normal. Like, he could tell, like, he even told me that I had a husband. I didn't believe in marriage. I didn't ever want to get married. I was always afraid of marriage because I seen so many marriages fail. So I never thought of it. But he was like, Mom, you have a husband, you're gonna be a wife. This like probably a couple months before he passed. But everybody loved him. Everybody everywhere, church, school. We could be in Walmart. They loved him. Like he was always on my hip. Like we was always together. He was a mama's boy, and he was so helpful. He wanted to put the groceries in the cart, put the groceries on the scanner to scan them. He wanted to bag them up and bring them in the house. He was so helpful. Like he was just he was a different kid. And he was special. I know that he was special. And I happened to one day, having a regular day at home, me working, doing hair, because, I do hair too. I was doing hair. I cooked for the family. They had a good day at school, and we was just having a good day. They asked to they wanted to go to a store across the street from the house that just opened, and I allowed them to go, which that's where Nayan transitioned to heaven. He got hit by a car, and it was terrible. It was terrible, but with God being in my life, I don't know. I have like different type of feelings that I can't even explain, But when he got hit by the car, like something told me that he was already gone, He was already gone.
And he was only 6.
He was only 6 years old. Yes, he was only 6 years old. Some had already told me that he was already gone. It was a lot of the ambulance. They was giving me the runaround. I was like on my way shooting to the hospital because somebody had already picked him up and trying to take him to the hospital, which they never took him to the hospital. They took him to somebody else's home. So here it is. I'm on my way to the hospital. The ambulance supposed to be on their way there. They took long. As I'm running back and forth, when they finally get there, they tell me, do you want to take him? Do you want to come back up here and take him? Or want us to? I'm like, he just got hit by a car. If you gonna give him the medical attention that he need, it's best that he would go with you guys. But I already kind of knew that he was gone. I kind of worried a lot about, as far as when he did pass, I kind of worried like, did he do what I taught him to do as far as crossing the streets and things of that nature? And every step of the way through this process, God has revealed to me everything that I needed to know, every way, the whole step through the process of my son passing, from him being with him, from him actually, me being able to go to the first court hearing and see, people was scared for me to see the video or whatever, but God told me to watch the video, because there was questions and the concerns that I had, and he wanted me to be, I guess, moving past it, healing, whatever God motive is. But yeah, I seen on the video, when I watched the video, the car was driving pretty fast or whatever. My son definitely looked both ways. The car came out of nowhere. So I'm like, this had to be God work, because the car came out of nowhere. He actually crossed the street before the car came. He was like right before the curb. Before, when the car hit him, I seen a light in the video. I seen a light like come down, like seriously. I seen a light come down. And because I was worried, did he do what I taught him to do? What, did he suffer or anything like that? Like instantly, as soon as that car hit my son, he got pulled up straight to heaven. Instantly, he got pulled up. I seen a light literally on the video, and God was able to reveal to me that he did look both ways, and he did cross the street how he was supposed to cross the street. So that helped me with a lot of my process of healing and grieving and stuff like that. But it was really tough. It was really hard, very hard. I thought I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and I thought that I had met like the maximum pain for all the things that I already had been to previously to that. But it was like, no, that was another level. Like, okay, it was something that I never experienced. I knew nothing. That pain was new to me, It kind of drove me crazy. I didn't want to live no more. I definitely was having thoughts of suicide, thinking about taking myself from this earth, because I was dealing with so many different thoughts and emotions. And, I'm like, I'm a good mother. My son always with me. the other two, because the other two were getting pretty older, and you know, they don't want to be no mama's boy. You know, they have friends, like they feel like they big, but my baby was like always glued to my hip. So like we had like a different type of bond, you know, like it was with everything that transpired with him even coming on into this earth. It was just like different. Like he showed a different type of love. Like he had the love of Jesus, you know. So, and that was another love that I received from my grandmother, and that had already once got taken away from me. But yeah,
What do you mean by that? It got taken away from you? How?
the love, because my grandmother passed 11 years ago.
Oh, okay.
She passed away too, and that love that she showed me was the same love that my son showed me, and they both, that type of love that I received from them both got taken away. But it hurted deeply, you know, and I was a very overprotective mother, and I always try to do things different from me, how I was raised up and how my parents raised me and what they taught me. I wanted to do the opposite, you know. So I really, being a single parent is hard. And when you put like your all into being a mother, like it's not easy being a mother, a full-time mother, loving your child unconditionally, knowing everything that goes on with them. You know, you don't have parents like that nowadays, you know, that take that time out to just be a full-time parent, you know. But yeah, it hurted me deeply. But with God, it's like God really carried me through. He definitely carried me through that hard time.
You were saying we had a conversation earlier, and you talked about some specific things that you did that you eliminated in your life, and the word you used was fasting. And normally when people say fasting, we think of food.
Right.
How did you use fasting?
I used fasting basically to remove all the things, all the toxic things out of my life. I used fasting. Anything that would hinder my healing process, I removed it. Anything that wasn't of God or good for me or my health and my mental, I removed it. I will remove, I eat different now. I don't eat how I used to eat. I eat more healthier, more clean. I watch more positive things. I rarely listen, I rarely watch TV and news and things of that nature, because I'm like listening more to like audiobooks, the Bible, stuff that's going to encourage me, uplift me, teach me something I'm going to learn and grow from. I fasted. I did smoke at one point in time, so I fasted that. And everything that I fasted basically is like a part of my new lifestyle. And I want to say I believe God led me to do that too. That way, maybe that was the best way for me to let go of some toxic things, you know. I fasted pretty much. I read the Bible, you know, pretty much a lot. I basically fasted everything out of my life. The internet. I continue to stay far from the internet because I watch how it's a powerful tool for business and things of that nature, but it's another tool that the enemy is using to, you know, be destructive to the world, you know, to steal and kill and destroy the world. So I wanted to stay off the internet because that wasn't really kind of good for me, like changing my eating, changing the way I think. I know I probably said a bunch of more stuff early on than that, but yeah, that's basically how I fasted, you know, going to church, having self-discipline.
So what you're saying is any sort of negative behavior, you called it toxic, that you might have engaged in previously, you took all of that out of your life.
Yes, all that. Yes, even the people I had to remove. Well, I feel like God did that. Like He removed me from a whole city because I always grew up, you know, family is everything. You know, you fall out with your family and stuff like that. You make it right, life too short. And I was always stuck on that. But I don't think that I was doing things the right way because I was being taken advantage of. I was being betrayed. And, you know, a lot of people that was around me they wasn't no good for me. I'm talking about family, friends, associates, or whoever. And I believe that God knew my heart and knew that my heart was too good. And I needed to understand that people wasn't like me and I was different. And, you know, it's a lot of evilness going on around the world. So now I realize that I see that now, like, because, you know, I'm thinking like Joseph, you know, I'm thinking I love them, they should love me, but it was never like that. So, you know, I believe God wanted to remove me from that for me to see that these people wasn't right for me. I believe, yeah, at that moment.
So with this reconfigured lifestyle that you have, where you've eliminated the toxic people, you have a healthy diet. I'm assuming that includes exercise and, you know, all the things that we do to keep our bodies healthy. And you're physically very beautiful. So it's certainly clear that you are taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Now, this journey that you're on, where you are right now, when we spoke last, you were indicating that you have a mission really to help other people.
Yes.
You've been through this trial by fire. How are you now positioning yourself to be able to help others?
I am I'm a life coach. I know that my story and the things that I experienced in life is going to help, not even just the life coach part, but I know that my story, me getting on different platforms and whatever it is God called me to do, is going to lead to like saving different souls, helping different people to see things from a different perspective and being able to, you know, stand strong even through the storms and the battles, and knowing that and just believing that God is with you, that you'll get through, you know, you'll get through those tough times.
And that seems to be the message that you're delivering, that no matter what happens, no matter what it looks like, God will get you through.
Yes, believe and trust in the Lord and take the necessary steps that you need to take. Like as far as living that, applying his lifestyle to yours, you know, it's easier said than done, but once you get over that hump, you know, he gonna continue to guide you and continue to press you through. But yeah, like just taking the actual steps, doing what it is that God wants you to do and living that righteous life. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And I feel better off with it, because when I try to do things on my own will, it never worked. But this life that's being orchestrated and guided by God, I'm starting to understand now a lot of things that I didn't understand. And I can't ever be Jesus, but I'm trying to be close to it, actually.
So you are really using Jesus as your way shower, as the demonstration of how to live.
Yes.
How do you apply that to the people you're helping as a life coach?
As far as as far as with the life coaching thing, you know, I'm gonna tell people about God, but you know, people have different religions, so I don't want to push or press nobody into anything. You know, I would want to be very much clear, you know, what it is, their religion, or if I'm even able to, you know, speak on God. You know, I don't want to be, you know, just forcing that on someone, you know?
Right. And really you can't, because people will resist if they think they're being forced into something.
Yes.
So
I don't want them to resist at all. But I'm pretty much sure that the people that the clients that I do end up working with, I'm pretty sure that, you know, God is going to line that up too, and, you know, something's going to be worked out. in those sessions for them as well. I feel like they'll get to know God, especially, working with me, because I am a chosen vessel, and I pretty much try my hardest each and every day to strive to be obedient to the word, to what it is, wherever the Holy Spirit is leading me, whatever God is telling me to do. I pretty much try and strive I'm human, I'm not perfect, but for the most part, I'm striving each and every day to apply God's ways to my life. So yeah, I want him. He's definitely going to be a part of this business. Definitely.
So how did you decide that being a life coach was the way for you to proceed?
Because I'm already this a go-to person. Everybody, even after my son's death, people still call on me. They depend on me for everything, and I knew that my purpose in life was basically to help people, save souls. I know that I have a big calling on my life, a high calling. I'm anointed, but there's just some things that you don't be knowing and understanding. But I know that I was supposed to help people. And, I feel like God took me through these steps that I went through in all my life experiences. I mean, everything, where it's people that's going through that in today's world right now, that I can help them and prevent them from going through what I went through, or, just prevent them from going down the wrong path, period. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with me already helping people, and I see just me doing that for free, how I help people, how people come to me and be like, you changed my life. I read the Bible more now, and like I kind of get a kick out of that. I want people to know who God is. I want people to live righteous. I want people to, have somebody that they can confide into, who they can speak with, because you don't have that. You don't have people that's going to actually listen to you. You don't have people that you can confide into and that's going to keep your secrets, with them, and not go judge you and spread your business to people. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'll be a good outlet for other people to work with me, and I think that they will be definitely satisfied. Yeah, I think they'd be satisfied. I think that, all that I've been through, anxiety, depression, like I'm not no therapist or anything like that, or no counselor, but if God can get me through, if I can go through a depressed stage, which, like I was telling you, I was very, very depressed when I got pregnant with my son, very depressed. And when I had him, I had postpartum depression. When he passed away, I got very depressed, anxiety, PTSD, whatever. And the doctors was they was prescribing me medicine for depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And I'm like, just reading the labels on these medicines, I'm like, why would I want to take something that's going to make me feel worse before it make me feel better, or I'm going to have these symptoms and I'm going to have to go through this. And I just was like, God, like, I don't want to have to be dependent on no medication, So I'm here.
Who did you talk to? Who helped you through?
God. Honestly, God helped me through. I tried to go to, my son passed away, I tried to go to counselors, I tried to go to therapists. I actually went to one lady before, and I told her, she asked me questions. I told her exactly what I was going through, what I was feeling, how did I go about it. And when I got done speaking to this lady, she told me that everything that she suggested she suggested that she would have suggested for me to do, I was already doing. So it was like, I really honestly, truly believe that God wanted me to depend on him this whole ride. He allowed everything to be like it is because I didn't get the help from no counselor. Nobody was really paying me attention. I didn't really have the support that I needed. That was the only the only spirit that I can go to was God. And now I'm still going through my healing process or whatever, but I'm doing way much better spiritually, mentally, physically, health-wise, versus when I was just a year and a half ago, like just months ago, because you never know how the process gonna go, or how long it's gonna take, or what steps you gotta go through, what part of the process you gotta go through. But yes, yeah.
Well, you are really on a remarkable journey. Like I said, no no parent wants to outlive their child and have
No.
to see their entire life, especially a little one who's only 6 years of age.
Mm.
So, when we look at society now, there are people in various parts of the country. The most recent mass unfortunate shooting took place in Texas,
Right. Mm-hmm.
19 children. Are you available to support parents who are facing that kind of trauma? Do you have how do people get in touch with you? Those who are going through this grief, this pain,
Mm-hmm.
how do they reach you?
They can get in touch with me. My website will be up. I have a website that I will be launching. They will definitely be able to get a free consultation there. They will be able to reach me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'll be on YouTube shortly. So they can get in touch with me. And I definitely will have business cards with a number where people can phone me to, so that's how they would definitely be able to reach me.
Okay, and then of course we can put that information in the links at
Yes.
the end of this video.
Yes.
Now, some people seem to have forgotten that we still are in the midst of dealing with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so how are you approaching that? What provisions are you making available for people to reach you? Is it in person? Are you going to do Zoom?
I'm going to definitely be doing Zoom phone calls and Zoom calls. That's how I'm going to be reaching people as far as with everything going on with the COVID. And depending on how everything go, I may have something set up where I can meet with my clients in person, or if we make him wear a mask. But I haven't even really got that far yet. As far as right now, I'm just going to be doing phone calls, Zoom meetings, and stuff like that.
Okay. So do you have a target date?
Emailing, you can email me, text me, things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have all of your contact information posted so
Yes.
that people can reach you.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? What do you see for the world, really? Because whatever happens in the world is going to impact all of us. What do you predict? What do you think?
I see myself speaking all over the world, guiding people, leading people to God, spreading the gospel. I see myself really big in that. And, I don't see myself as no pastor, but I know that I will be doing a lot of ministering all over the world. And just that's my main focus right now, is for me to live right and to teach people what God taught me, and as I'm learning, continue to help teach other people what even I'm learning now, So I know that's my purpose in life, and I'm just pretty much where God wants me to be right now. I'm trying to be on God's time and not my own time, because things don't go right when you try to take things in your own matter. So I'm really trying to just allow God, and life is much better. Even though you get storms and you got to go through, He helps you through, He guides you through, He pulls you out. Life is much better. The life that God said that we should have it blessed and more abundant is true. So why not follow God, live righteous, and I'm focused on going to heaven. I want God to be proud of me, and I want to lead lives that found people, help people that's lost. If they lost, find them, do whatever it is that I can do, whatever strength God and power God give me, I'm gonna use it, and that's where I see myself, just saving souls.
Well, you are really clear about
Yeah.
what your purpose is, and what I admire about you is that you've been able to look at a set of circumstances that could have caused you to go completely in the opposite direction. Sometimes people respond to great tragedies by self-medicating themselves, drinking excessively, or smoking, or behaviors that are, acting out anger toward other people.
Yes.
I don't see any of that in you. You're
That is God. I'm so thankful. I am so thankful. And it's like people, when they see me, they be like, you is really strong. People that don't even know me, you are really strong. And I be like, listen, that's God. That's God. If it wasn't for God, I don't know where would I be. Literally. I don't know where would I be. And that's like so true. Like, if it wasn't for God, I don't know where would I be.
Well,
And,
you are absolutely your own testimony.
yeah.
The life that you're living really is a testimony to your faith and your beliefs. Is there anything you'd like to share that we have not touched on in this conversation?
I'm not sure. Do you have any other questions? Is there anything else you would like to ask?
No, really, what I want to do is invite you to come back a second time, because you're at the beginning, the very first steps of this part of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see how you're able to reach out into the world, the larger community, in the areas where you live, as well as by using technology to reach across state lines, maybe into other countries, excuse me, and to continue to share your journey with all of us. I think what you have done so far is absolutely nothing short of a miracle, because like I said, I have seen the same set of circumstances really tear down other people that did not have your faith and did not have your foundation. So you are on your way to greater and greater things.
Yes.
And it's not for your own glory, not to build a name for you.
Right. God's glory. Definitely. I want God to get the glory. I understand. I'm so happy that He had part of my life and how far I even came and how much He helped me not even be confused in certain areas no more. Like, I know everything that I'm doing is for His glory, is for His kingdom. Everything that I'm doing, He is using me to touch His children. So I clearly understand that I'm nothing. I'm nobody. He's just you. Well, I am somebody, but I'm a vessel that He chose to use.
You are a beautiful expression of God.
Yes.
And I thank you for being open and having the courage to move forward in your life and to share what you've learned. And that not only that, but to do it with a heart that wants to help and a heart that's full of love.
Yes.
It's very important. And that's what people respond to. It's the love. It's the love.
And I'm definitely full of that. My son was full of love too. Yeah. He had a wonderful, amazing little tiny heart.
What was his name again? Say his name.
His name was Nyan.
Nyan.
Yep, Nyan.
Well, we are grateful to you for bringing Nyan through. And we are thankful that he was here for the time that he was here, because the impact he made is just about is going to be felt because it's being expressed through you.
Right.
And I have no words. Thank you is not enough, but that's where we will start.
You are very welcome, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely my pleasure. And I'll see you soon.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.